I count slowly, slowly, slowly getting faster. Once I start counting, it's very hard to stop. Hey, faster, faster, it is so exciting. I could count forever, count until I drop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. I love counting whatever the amount. 1, 2, 3, 4, hey, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's the song.
Good morning, possums, from beautiful downtown Florence, Alabama. I hope y'all have all had a good week. Let's give a quick update on where we stand after week 5. Most total points, your beloved commissioner is still in the lead, most total points, but it is a narrow lead. Barry is only 1/3 of a point behind me. The farthest team member out for most total points at the moment is Mr. Jennings. As we move on down to the single highest weekly score, your beloved commissioner's 162.8 in week 3 still is holding the bar. The closest during week 5 was Dustin, who was off the mark by 32.2 points. Bring out your best. Dustin has, for the second week, still the league member that has pissed most people off. He has had 621.9 points scored against him. The second closest to that is Sean, who trails behind about 25 points. Your beloved commissioner, by the way, is truly beloved because I've had the least points scored against me in the tournament so far, trailing behind Dustin at 123 points. Worst first round pick, David Johnson is still out, so the commissioner is still assuming he will be a lock. During the pick streak, a bloody week for several teams, a lot of unexpected outcomes, including the Steelers and the Cowboys both that dropped the game during week 5. That leaves your beloved commissioner as victorious in the pick streak with his pick of the Eagles. So I hereby award myself $58 for that contest, and that contest is now closed. The Barry Prize, no motion this week. As a reminder, because we had a couple of discussions about it Sunday at Capone's, the Barry Prize is awarded to the league member who has a active player on their roster that is arrested. Not, for example, it has to be arrested within the season, and it has to be an actual arrest. That price has rolled over from last year, so it's currently at $112. Full participation. Dustin came close this week. Full participation for week 5 was at 8 points. The low man on Dustin's roster scored 7.4. So close, but no cigar. As we move into week 6 next week, the threshold drops from 8 points per active roster spot to 6 points per active roster spot. Crushing the competition was awarded in week 3 to Eminem. So we've got an interesting circumstance here with Squeaker. So any of y'all that didn't notice, we actually had a tie this week. Both Bob, who is in the secondary pool, and Randy both scored 92.1 points. So a true tie. Oddly enough, by the way, when you look at the standings this morning, they didn't award the tie. Both Bob and Randy's record is 2-3-0. 2 wins, 3 losses, and 0 ties. So I don't know if that is a problem with ESPN and that will update at some point. I am assuming it will, because the ties, of course, could have implications in the final standings in the playoffs. So I'll watch that. If it doesn't update on its own here in the next couple of days, I'll search and see if there's something if that's intended, or if that's an error that I need to ask about. For the purposes of the Squeaker Prize itself, since Bob is a part of the secondary pool, I went back and double-checked the Constitution as published. The Squeaker is awarded first to claim, and it is the first team to win a head-to-head matchup by 1 point or less. Using my broad powers as commissioner, I am at this point going to declare that Bob did not win. He tied. Therefore, the Squeaker Prize is still open and available to be claimed in the coming weeks. Last man standing early, M&M was eliminated this week with a score of 73.3. That leaves Barry, Dustin, and your beloved commissioner. Moving on to week 6. Last man standing late is still scheduled to start in week 8. Most valuable player, tight ends were on the roster this week. And the beloved commissioner's last minute pickup Sunday morning, since the Gronk was out, worked out well for him, posting 15.3 points in the tight end. That leaves Sean still leading overall with 43.4 points. It looks like your beloved commissioner is trailing him the closest, trailing by about 10 points. Dustin is trailing the farthest behind 46 points. For week 6, it is your wide receiver 1. Let me specifically point out, I will be looking at your wide receiver 1, the first wide receiver that's in your lineup. So make sure you've got the one that you want in there posted. And of course, in the next 3 weeks, we can see some big movement in these numbers for the totals as we get into the wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks. So that is our weekly update. We had a fine time at Capone Sunday. Unless something happens, we'll be back at Capone's again this Sunday. Y'all have a good day. Roll Tide.